Most gardeners focus on compost, manure and synthetic fertilizers, but for centuries humans have relied on a far less conventional resource: wild fungi. Mushrooms, mycelium networks and forest floor decomposers have quietly transformed soils for millennia. I decided to put this knowledge to the test, foraging a mix of edible and non-edible fungi from local forests and applying them directly to my garden beds. The results were remarkable, and they revealed the hidden power of fungi as both nutrient providers and soil engineers. This isn't just anecdote. It's a practice rooted in history, science, and practical observation. When we think of mushrooms, we imagine dinner or forage delicacies, but in nature, fungi play a far greater role. They break down organic matter, cycle nutrients, and establish networks that deliver water and minerals directly to plants. Ancient farmers in Europe-Asia and the Americas unknowingly leveraged fungi to improve soil fertility. Forest gardens and polyculture systems relied on naturally occurring mycelium to enrich beds over years. By adding fungi deliberately, we can accelerate the process. Not all fungi are safe to handle, and, well, misidentification can be dangerous. Historical records suggest that farmers use familiar species from their local environments, often ones that fruited near decomposing wood, leaves, or compost. In modern practice, it's best to start with common, well-known species that are unlikely to be toxic. Mushrooms growing on logs, leaf litter, or in pasture land can be carefully harvested, chopped, and prepared for garden use. Always wear gloves and avoid unknown species. Rather than adding fresh mushrooms directly to soil, I chop them finely and mix them with water and a small amount of compost. This created a slurry that could be poured around the base of plants. Fermentation for a few days, enhanced microbial activity, converting fungal biomass into a form that plants could access immediately. Ancient farmers often buried fungi in compost heaps or shallow soil layers to achieve the same effect, relying on time and microbial action to integrate nutrients. Fungi improved soil aggregation faster than traditional compost alone. Within weeks, clay soils loosened, sandy soils retained more moisture, and organic matter decomposition accelerated. Roots penetrated more deeply, and soil microbial diversity increased dramatically. These effects are not coincidental. Fungal hyphae act like living glue, binding particles into stable aggregates that retain water, air, and nutrients efficiently. This is exactly why forests maintain rich topsoil for centuries without human intervention. Within a single growing season, plants in beds treated with fungal slurry outperformed untreated areas. Leaves were greener, growth was steadier, and, stress resistance increased during hot or dry spells. This mirrors observations from traditional agroforestry systems, where fungal inoculation was an incidental yet powerful component of soil fertility. The hidden networks beneath the surface feed plants in ways that synthetic fertilizers simply cannot replicate. Compost, primarily provides bulk organic matter and slow-release nutrients. But fungi, well, they do more than that. They mobilize locked nutrients, establish symbiotic relationships with plant roots, and create these living channels in the soil that really help sustain microbial populations. By adding forage fungi, you're in effect jump-starting a living ecosystem rather than just adding material. Ancient farmers, often without realizing it, did this by leaving forest debris in their fields, planting near decomposing logs, or using mycelium-rich mulch. Start small, focusing on just a single bed. Identify local safe fungi species, chop them up and mix with compost or water, and apply the mixture near plant roots. Then cover lightly with mulch to protect the soil and help retain moisture. Over the course of several weeks, it's important to, observe how the soil and plants respond. Make sure to avoid over-harvesting wild fungi, as that's key to maintaining ecological balance. Repeating this process seasonally, it really strengthens those soil networks and builds up fertility even faster than compost alone. When it comes to larger gardens or even small farms, fungi can actually be cultivated right alongside your crops. Using logs inoculated with beneficial mushrooms, fungal-rich compost tea, and mulches made from leaf litter, all of these approaches help to extend the effect. Bedding for livestock or straw that's inoculated with fungi before it's applied to the field can introduce mycelium without a lot of extra labour. Historical polyculture systems use similar techniques, building multi-layered ecosystems that supported food production with very little human input. They understood that fertility is alive, dynamic, and interconnected. Soil is not just dirt. It is a living system, sustained by organisms that cycle nutrients, retain moisture, and protect plants. Fungi were a natural ally in this system. Modern agriculture often overlooks this invisible workforce, relying on quick fixes that do not build long-term soil health. If this kind of deep, historically grounded agricultural knowledge matters to you, subscribe to Farm Lab. Share this with fellow growers, survivalists, and history enthusiasts who want to cultivate fertile, resilient soil without relying solely on chemicals or slow compost. Feeding your garden with forage fungus isn't just an experiment. It's a revival of ancient wisdom that produces wild, lasting results.